Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to share a video from a critical comment from the audience. This is a critique on my view previously or historically over what the bots were. And this person is saying that I have flip-flopped on my opinion. I'd like to unpack his comment and respond to it here in this video. I think I have a far more nuanced opinion than is being alluded to, and I want to reflect that here for anybody who might be new to the channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dwayne Cunningham. I am a Splinterlands content creator. I've covered this game for years. I played this game for years. I love it because it's changed my life, and I think it could change yours. I say that because blockchain-based video games are revolutionary in how they operate. They give you rewards for your time and attention. That's new. If these rewards are meaningful, and that really means if the game is fun and has a future, then you might see significant opportunity or financial reward that come out of a video game. That's cool. That's special. So I'm excited about Splinterlands, Golem Overlord, Splinter Forge, and a few others. And so I cover the space. So if that sounds interesting, stick around, stay tuned. This one's a bit of a salt video. We're going to get into, like I say, a bit of a critical comment from the audience. And I'll do my best to respectfully, acknowledge his view. I think he makes some points. I think he's also quite salty. So I'm not going to get upset with him, but I'm going to push back because I think one of the best ways to learn from one another is when we are analyzing each other's opinions and perspectives in like a strong man, like a steel man perspective, as opposed to straw man, which unfortunately my commenter here is a bit salty, and I think there's a bit of that. Anyways, let's read it and let's see what he says, and then let me have an opportunity to comment back. So Snake Doc is commenting on a recent video where I talked about removing battle helpers, and I said, yes, please. I talked about how I, for the first time ever, tested the OBSBOT battle helper, and I thought it was garbage. It was boring. It took forever for me to get a match. Sorry, to get the feedback that it was selling me because it cost money. So it takes 2 minutes to receive the results, and then by the time you receive the results, you need to think about them and choose which one's best. And by the time you do that, you run out of time. So I found it ineffective. I found it unentertaining, and I found it, the results were poor. I lost most of my matches when I used it. So I don't like it. I said if we could get rid of it, I'd like to get rid of it. And I know there's been a recent proposal on that. I actually, as it happens, there was a different comment asking about SPLINTERCOACH, asking my opinion as to whether or not it falls into this battle helper, prohibition that has been recently approved. I've done a separate video specifically talking about SPLINTERCOACH and how I think SPLINTERCOACH falls under or doesn't fall under that battle helper ban, which is yet to come, by the way. Just because the proposal is passed doesn't mean that battle helpers are banned. So that's a separate conversation for a different video. That video is coming. Today, I just really want to focus on the other part of his comment, which is, so in that video, I said, yeah, let's get rid of battle helpers. They're annoying. They're boring. They suck. They're not that good. They cost a lot of money. They take too long. I don't find them satisfying. So yeah, I'd be down for that. This proposal, I'm voting for it. However, I don't see how we'd ever do this. And I said that in the video. And the proposal talks about that. The proposal alludes to how this is not a top priority. We just want to pass it and let the team know that this is something we would desire. So it says here, while changing the terms of service is a high priority, the proposal does not want to slow down or stop any other projects for special enforcement. So the team can use whatever tools they already have on a best efforts basis. So very clearly, Dave McCoy understood that this was really a proposal to test the waters for the community's willingness to extend the bot prohibitions to battle helpers in the modern league specifically, not the wild, just the modern. And he said, I don't want you to spend extra time, enforcing or creating new tools, but whatever you can do right now is best efforts basis. I'm okay with that. And so again, I'll speak to specifically SPLINTERCOACH in a different video, but I have said I was for this. I have said I was for getting rid of bots forever. I have said that the game used to be really human to human, and there was very few people playing, and I've played ever since then. The only thing I can say about Snake's comment, actually I haven't read his comment yet, so let me read that for you. He goes, In the context of that video and my approval of the banning of bots in Modern, as well as my approval of banning the battle helpers in Modern, he says, after you've sternly been saying the opposite for years, now we get, I definitely support a successful elimination of bots from the entire game. Interesting. Just sad that it's way too late now. Also nice, you've been running an ad for a battle helper who sponsors your channel for a month now, and then you bring out a video removing battle helpers. Yes, please. So, like I said, tons of salt. Not subscribed. I don't know, Snake Doc. I don't know, man. You know, I'm not sure what you want, but I'll tell you what I see in the comment. Let me give you a response, and I did read him response directly. I think this is succinct. So let's read that, and you'll hear my response. So I go, I was never saying the opposite. I have never supported bots. I have always said, I doubt that you can get rid of them. That's not the same thing. And I've always, and this is me now, I'm kind of riffing on that. I've also always said, I don't know if you can get rid of them. And I've also said that there would be unintended consequences in getting rid of them. I say that in my next sentence. The closest thing to this topic that you might hold against me saying, having said in the past, which I've now changed, would be me saying that eliminating bots would have unintended consequences, which we should be wary of. And I never thought it would go as well as it has. And so that is me trying to throw him a bone and say, yeah, I used to say, first of all, I don't know that we can ever get rid of them because I don't even know how you track that stuff. And I heard Matt say he doesn't know how you'd get rid of them. And so that's the context that he's totally ignoring. And then when I said I did say quite fervently that I really, not only do I not know how we would get rid of them, but also if we do get rid of them, there might be a lack of match liquidity, which might be super boring as you wait for a match. Turns out Modern's fine. Turns out Modern matchmaking is fine. And so that to me is me having new data that reveal, hey, it's not nearly as bad as it was, or as I might have thought it would be. So I think things are different now, first of all, and people are allowed to change their opinions. And I hope that through the course of conversation over the next 6 months to 2 years, I will have an evolving opinion on a variety of topics that are Splinterlands related, because I hope that I'm always paying attention to the true reality of what's in front of me, not the opinion I made, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, and then I'm just sticking to it. And so, yeah, if you pay attention to the channel, you're probably going to hear me change my mind from time to time. I would think that would be a value added, as opposed to instead of me just kind of sticking to my guns. So, yes, I have kind of changed my opinion. I want to agree with you in that context. Did I used to say the opposite for years? I think that's a big stretch. And I also think it's a big stretch to ignore the fact that really there was context of how I thought this was problematic or difficult or maybe even impossible. And whether or not I doubted its ability to be executed is not the same thing as my desire to have it be executed. Those are two different topics. One is, do I want it gone? Do I want bots gone? Do I want battle hoppers gone? And two is it possible? And I used to say that all the time. So I feel like Snake's just trolling, but let's carry on. One last thing I want to say here, in response to this comment, and I'll read my comment to him. I was wrong about how well this could go. We've seen in Modern now, guys, that this has been really successful. But here's the thing. I think in large part, it's going well because it's isolated within Modern. If we tried to fight the bot fight in Wild and Modern, I think this goes differently. It doesn't mean that I have some evidence to hold up or I have some sort of proof to show you that we could not successfully fight bots across both Modern and Wild. I don't have anything to show you that. In fact, I am leaning towards now thinking we could successfully win the bot fight in Wild and Modern simultaneously. I'm starting to believe that. That's been a course of me realizing how it could be executed. But you have to remember and you have to acknowledge that Matt himself said he didn't know how we could do this, how we could win this fight, but it's happening. It's happening in Modern. So I feel new evidence has come forward. I feel I'm now integrating that into my opinion. I feel like this is totally consistent and coherent with what I was previously saying. It's just that I guess my different posture now is I've seen it actually being tested, and I'm seeing that it's successful, and it doesn't seem to be hindering sort of the experience of the game, which was one of the unintended consequences I was worried about. And now, if that's no longer something to worry about, I'm interested in seeing it happen in modern fully, because we've all agreed that modern should be, and I'm interested in seeing DAO-based decentralized governance proposals raised in the future, so that these same conversations and these same bot battles might be brought to the wild. I'm not saying I'm exclusively for that. What I am saying is I'm exclusively and 100% behind the idea that DAO proposals would lead that governance. Part of Snake's view seems to be, as many of the sort of anti-bot people were and have always been, there's this simplistic thinking. There's this real bots bad, get rid of them all, who cares about the consequences? And I'm talking nuance. So what I'm saying in this context is I would be willing to have a nuanced conversation about how this might even reach into a wild. But I also know that there might be unintended consequences. Again, that's a nuanced conversation. And I also know that we would need to analyze those and weigh those pros and cons as we try to execute. I also know that bots would evolve, and how bot operators work would evolve. And then there would be this, this arms race, us versus them. And that's a time sink for the team and the development. So these are consequences, and every choice has consequences. So I'm not for bots. I've never been for bots. I didn't used to think we could deal with them. It seems like maybe we can. I'm open to maybe extending that even into wild, but right now I'm 100%, and I voted for all of the proposals within the context of modern. If you want to see my response to his additional comment here, which is definitely snarky. Also nice that you've been running ads for Battle Helper on your channel for the last month, and then now you're saying you're for it, removing them. If you want to see the comment, you want to see me respond to that topic. I didn't see this comment before I recorded the other video, but you'll see me do a video. It's coming out the next day or two, where I actually am going to speak to SplinterCoach specifically, and whether or not it is a battle helper by the definition, and whether or not, frankly, I think that makes sense. So I'll leave that to another video, but thank you guys for your time and attention. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.